Ready? Hari Om. Let's start with the prayer. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhusya Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. We are analyzing the world is nothing but Brahman only, and whatever we see and whatever differences we see is only Nama Rupatmakam Idam Jagat. So this whole universe is nothing but Brahman, and whatever is perceived, because Brahman being infinite and Brahman cannot be perceived, is not an object for perception, and whatever perceived is only an object which is limited, and therefore whatever the differences that we see in the world do not belong to the Brahman. But the very adhara, the support for world is nothing but the Brahman, which is changeless entity. So ataha prutak nasti jagaratmanaha jagat paratmanaha prutak pratitastu mrusha gunahivat aropitasya kim viruddhavatta adhishthanam abhati tada brahmena. So if I don't see the adhara adhishthanam, and whatever I see is only due to Brahma. Brahma means the delusion that whatever I am seeing is reality. So there are two aspects here. Number one, I see plurality, and second aspect is whatever I see as a plurality is real because I see it. I see it, therefore it is there, and that is the perception. And Brahma is also, I see it, therefore it can be there. It can be there, what I see it, therefore it is there, because I see it. So the proof of the existence of the object outside, because it's confirmed because I can see. That's what it seems to be our eyewitness account. But what I can see is only name and form only. Whereas Advaita says, because you see it, therefore it's not real. So drishtatvat. So essentially, because whatever I see is real is one Acharya says, and because you see it, therefore it is real. Whereas the Shankaracharya says that because you see it, therefore it is not real. How can that be? Because whatever I see is only a form, and form is only based on the attributes of the object. So how can that be possible? Even from the point of the perception, the perceptuality condition, if you look at it, as we discussed before, is whatever I see is only from a reflection. Why? Because if it is pitch dark room, I won't be able to see. So therefore, I need a light to see. So what does light do? Light illumines the object and reveals the object. So existence of the object is revealed by the light. Without the light, I will not be able to see. In fact, if I have partial light, I may even make mistakes also. That's how when it is not too dark and too bright, and I'm walking, I say this is a rope there. Even there's a snake there where there's a rope, and that because I am seeing some aspect of it and not complete aspect of it, and therefore here the seeing is only from the point of, because the light is required for me to see. But do I really see the object? If you really analyze deeper, what I see is only light falling on the object, and reflected form of the object is forming an image in my retina, which is transmitted through the optical nervous system into a thought process. So how electrical signal is converted into software, which is a thought, the code or the program code, we do not know. The Lord has already a program such that whatever I see is as though converted into a thought. So everybody knows that they are thinking, and they know that even the objective scientist has to think whether this object is real or not, and trying to find out what is the fundamental object by an investigation which requires a thinking process. But what exactly is the thought, we do not know. It's only a subtle, which is essentially a modification of the electrical signal, and at the most objective scientists will say some neurons transmitting the information. But how exactly? Neurons are only the electrical signals are changed into a thought process which is like a software, we do not know. Now coming back, what we see is only the reflected light from that object, and the object has the capacity to reflect, therefore I am seeing the reflected light. And what we have is the white light. If you have a white light shining and it falls on it, and depending upon the nature of the reflecting medium, I see the particular color. So if it reflects all the 7 colors, then I see white. I see the object is white. If all the light goes through without any reflection, I say it is a transparent, because I don't see, like a glass is a transparent. And same way, all things at which they transmit the light without reflection, we call it a transparent object. And if it is half transparent and half not, then we call it a translucent object. Something we can see, but not at the same time cannot. And if object absorbs some light and only reflects some, then we see only those particular colors that are not absorbed by the object. So if I say it's a red color, all it means is it is absorbing all other colors except red, and therefore red only is coming back to me, and therefore I say that object is red. So everything is only pure reflection of the light only. And I say object is there, but what I am seeing is only not the object, but only reflected attributes of the object. Attribute means a form, because the form is the one that is reflecting, and I won't know what substance is by that. If the substance has a property that has a reflecting, like a gold can reflect the gold color, and iron only reflects the dull color, and silver can reflect the silvery color, therefore I am also only looking at the colors that are coming in based on the colors and information from the past knowledge. I say this is gold, this is a silver, because I am seeing it is a gold, I am seeing it is a silver. But remember, all that glisters need not be gold. So it may look like a gold, but it need not be gold. Or it may be plated gold, because even the plating also reflects, and unless I do further test whether it's really gold, full gold or not, and that's what the Eureka that you heard about the Archimedes was trying to prove, that this crown is made up of gold without destroying the crown, and through the specific gravity experiments. And now what its implication is, what I am seeing is only reflected attributes of the object, but not the substantive. That's more important. I do not see the material at all. I am only seeing the reflection, and based on I had to infer, because there cannot be a attribute without an object. So in every perception, cognition, there is a recognition of the involved, but there has to be an object of that form, of that shape, with those attributes, and that comes from the previous memory, and therefore recognition of an object comes after cognitive process through comparison with the memory. Therefore, what I am seeing is not the substance, I am only seeing the attributes of the object. And attributes, not even the attributes, only reflected attributes of the object, and say the whole world is, the chair is, the table is, the desk is, all that based on the attribute. Is there really chair there or not? Say if I go and sit on the chair, then I know what I see is what was there. So a transaction proves that the jnanendriyas that we have perceived is indeed established by karmendriyas. That's why the whole world, Jagat, we call it transactional world. That means it's a transactional reality, because even when I sit on it, I can only see the properties of it, of the shape and formness and all that. I do not know the substantive of that. So there is no way the material atoms of material can come to me through perception or through any process, because the material belongs there only, not to me. So there is no way I can perceive the objects directly of the matter. Matter cannot be perceived. Therefore Vedanta says what you are seeing, the whole is nothing but nama and rupa. Rupa is attributes, and when I see it, I give for that form, and therefore for the object a name, that's called the word. Therefore a word is given for an object, and that's called vacharambanam vikaro namadheyam. Therefore it is nothing but walk. A speech is given for communicating. Hey, this is a chair. And that's how the education starts from the childhood. Beta, this is a chair, that's a table, and that each mother is pointing each object and giving a name for him to remember. So the name and the form that he sees goes together. Therefore that's how the knowledge is built up all the way, and that's how we develop. The ones, all chairs are one type and the tables are other type. So jati is also comes into picture when I have similar types of attributes or of one type of object and similar other types of attributes or other type of object. So for every object there is a jati, because there are varieties of those objects. If it is only one of a kind, you cannot have jati also. So that is, the Brahman is one of a kind because there is nothing other than Brahman. So it is either the sajati, vijati, swagata beda, rahitam, that is one uniform. So where is the material now? We are only looking at the attributes and say the whole world is real. Therefore world is nothing but attribute you content with the name for it. The substantive is nothing but Brahman only. That's what a scientist is also trying to inquire, what is the fundamental particles made of which the whole universe is made up of. Whereas for Vedanta says you can never investigate the fundamental particle of the whole universe, because you have to include the one who is observing also as a part of the universe. You cannot exclude him and observe part of the universe only and make a theories out of it. Therefore you have to include the total system for analysis. Then only the theory will be right, and the total system you cannot analyze it using your tools. All that has to be understood. So Vedanta alone is a pramana only because of this reason. It says the Brahman itself became many. So what is the substantive, or what is the material from which the whole universe is made? It is nothing but Brahman. But I don't see it. Yes, you cannot see it. Why? It is Brahman. Because Brahman is that infiniteness cannot be perceived. And therefore what I perceive is only forms through my senses, because senses alone can perceive the attributes of the object. Whether the mind goes there and grasps the object, or the senses bring the information to the mind, ultimately it is just a thought that arising in the mind, and that's what I see. If I don't have the mind and therefore no thoughts can rise, then therefore no objects can be perceived, whether the object exists or not. That's what in the deep sleep state. Therefore it says, Yadi satyam bhave drusyam sushupta upalabhyate. So in the deep sleep state there are no objects there. Why? Because there is no mind. Without the mind, the existence of the object cannot be established. It may be there, it may not be there. It becomes anirvachaniyam. And what is rare is only that which remain all the time same, and that we call it satyam. So yadi satyam bhaved, if it is really real, it would be there in the deep sleep state also. Since it's not there, it is in the deep sleep state, it's not there. And even in the dream state you have different types of objects which are not there in the waking state, and in the waking state the objects are different from the dream state. So the objects that I perceive and is completely changing, and that which is changed Consciousness alone is real, not the changing things. Changing things are only form changing into different form. Form is all the attributes changing into one attribute to other attribute, and that we call it a name. So it is the same wood. Now we made that into a chair form, and now we call it a chair, but it is only wood only. But we say the chair is not good, we may destroy the chair and use that wood pieces to build a table. Then now we call the same wood which was chair before, now we are calling it the table now. We are giving a name for a form. What is there is wood. But what, because wood is the adhara, the support. From wood they came, by wood it sustained, into wood they go back. But what is the fundamental particles? Wood chairs are wood, but from iron this one iron, for gold things gold. But what is the fundamental? For all particles are coming in, all the whole universe is coming in. For that only Vedanta becomes a pramana, and that is what nothing but the Brahman, and Brahman itself became many, and that is only scripture becomes a means of knowledge for us. If we reject it, then it's a rejection of the science itself. Oh, I don't believe it. So don't believe it. What do? Nothing happens. I don't believe in gravitational force also. So I say, okay, jump from 4th floor, then you will believe it. In that case, it can be experimented, but it's nothing to do with a belief. It is what a fact is, and the fact has to be given by this science, and that's what sciences teaches. And same way, science means Shastra. Shastra means that absolute science is nothing but the Vedanta, and all other sciences are only the transactional science and not really science at all, because it's not really giving you the absolute knowledge, and therefore it's only, Shankara calls it avidya only. So with that, we will continue that. We'll take the sloka 238 of Vivekachudamani. Bhantasya yadyat brahmata pratitam brahmaiva tat rajatam hi suktihi idam taya brahma sadeva rupyate rupyate aropitam brahmanina mamatram. Bhantasya yajyatu brahmata pratitam brahmaiva tat rajatam hi suktihi. So here is giving an example that the rajatam hi suktihi. Suktihi is a shell that I see the silver there. So this is another example in the Vedanta, the silver in the shell. So when I was walking on the beach, suddenly I saw very shining and it looks like a silver. So thinking that it is a valuable, because I have a value for the silver, and I went and picked up that object, and when I look at it more closely, it's not really silver, it's only a shell, but appearing a silvery line inside. So now, once I know it is a shell, I throw it because it is of not value. So is the silver real or not? Silver, I am seeing it. So the fact that I am able to pick it up is that because I thought it is a silver. What do you know it is a silver? Because in the past I have seen silver and I know how silver looks, shines, and I have the prior knowledge of the silver or silveriness of the silver, which is attributive knowledge of the silver, which is gathered, and I have a rupam and a namam for it and stored in the memory. Therefore, when I see now an object there, what I am seeing again, it is an attributive knowledge only, because now predominant attribute is coming to me. Suddenly, as soon as I look at it, the things come. Striking one is the one that is the silveriness, because it's so bright and silvery, and that comes. Therefore, I take it based on the partial attributes of the object. So be careful here. So I am not seeing all the attributes of the object. If I see completely attributes of the object that includes the shellness of the object, I won't call it a silver anymore, and it's a silvery looking shell, I will say. But now I am only getting a partial attributes of the object, and those attributes are bringing information, and from which an image is formed. And now I recollect back from my memory, says what is an object that has the same attributes, and I say this is a silver, has the same attributes, therefore it is a silver. So that is a knowledge for me, and that is real knowledge until I pick it up. Why do I pick it up? Because I know it is a silver and I have value for it. If I know it is a shell, I won't bend down and pick it up. So when I am picking it up, I am sure that it is a silver only, and therefore it is a value. Therefore it is motivating me to action now. What is seen is a silveriness, and based on the attributes or partial attributes of the object, I am making a judgment call that it is silver based on my previous understanding of silver. That means I have seen silver before, and now that's not that silver here, but I am seeing the attributes of the silver. Therefore everything I say attributive knowledge only, therefore I say it is silver. Only when I pick it up, what happens? I do still see silveriness of the object, but now I have additional attributes of the object which negates the silverness of the silver, and but brings in it is a shell which is appearing as a silver. Now you have to understand here. So what is being negated is the inference that I brought in based on the partial attributes of the object, because I am making an inference of an object based on the attributes only. So now I am getting only partial attributes before, and I thought it is a silver. Now I get additional attributes that doesn't negate the silveriness, additional attributes that negate the silver aspect of the silveriness, because now I know even the shell also looks like a silver too. So next time I have to be careful before I say there won't be any silver on the beaches there. It's only shells mostly, and therefore I should be more careful in picking up things and seeing based on the attributes only, not to go by the simple attributes. Get more attributes, we get the information about the object more clearly, and that's what is. So Bhranti is that knowledge which can be negated by gaining the higher knowledge. Though Bhranti is a silver is a Bhranti because there is no silver there, it's only shell. But it became a Bhranti only when I have complete information that it is Sukti, not the silver. That information came when I get all the attributes of the object. Now I have to understand this is a Bhranti of the universe is real. Why I am seeing? Because I am seeing the existence part of it expressed there in the form of an object. So there is attribute which is common to the world and the Brahman. Therefore there is a similarity here, and the similarity is the very existence itself. When you say this is silver, this is gold, this is the object, this is chair, so in that this is common, and this is being pointed out to the world, and is the existence part of it that comes from the Brahman. So this is silver, or this is an object, and now with the Jnani, this is nothing but Brahman only. Brahma Arpanam, Brahma Havihi. So Arpanam is also Brahman, even though I am using it and pouring it. So I need to have a clear understanding, that which I cannot see, but using the scripture now, I have to know that what I saw is only Bhranti. It's only my illusion, because I am giving importance to the attributes, partial attributes of the finite form and all that. I am giving importance to it, ignoring the essential attribute which is existence, which is not different because it exists in that object plus outside the object also. I am not paying attention to that attribute, I am only paying attention to the form and giving a name for it, and that's what is the Bhranti there. Bhranti is when I negate by proper knowledge that it is not really an object, what is there is only Brahman. That knowledge makes the previous knowledge is always a Bhranti. When I know it is a rope, I realize that what I thought is a snake is my Bhranti. So I should have a higher pramana to prove what is really is, until when I to discover that this is a Bhranti or this is only illusory knowledge. All that is implied, and with this the Jagat world is real, world is the Brahman, is Acharya concludes, and then he looks into more details of now what exactly the Brahman, summarizing the whole, that world is real, I am Brahman, world is Brahman, Aham Brahman, and all that. If everything is only Brahman, then we need to know what exactly, why there is a differences and all that. With this we stop. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamiva Vasishyati. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.